Hi, it's Dr. Parikh, and this is your orientation to Blackboard. Typically I use a video, but I want to make sure you can see as much of my screen as possible, so I'm just going to talk you through it. The home page for Blackboard will take you to the announcements. Mine often gives me issues loading, so you can go directly to announcements. My understanding is that Blackboard's to-do lists and things like that aren't great because there's no good way to keep track of what's finished and what's not, which is why I give you a weekly to-do list, which I'll get to. If you are not familiar with Blackboard, I highly recommend that you spend 20 or 30 minutes literally just sitting on a computer, clicking things and seeing what happens. Just kind of get used to it. Try submitting, even if you submit an assignment with the word test written, I won't be weirded out. I will know what you're doing. Here under getting started is where this is some pretty typical, this is boilerplate standard information for online classes that walks you through what you're supposed to do step by step. Course information, there's a link to the syllabus. I keep the syllabus on Google Drive, so if I notice a mistake, I can just correct it. And you can see I'm not signed in with my Caldwell email right now. I'm signed in with a private one. So this is how it might look if you sign in. So you could potentially add a comment. If there's something that's not clear, feel free to add a comment asking a question. The advantage of commenting over emailing me is that if other people see, if other people have the same question, they can see my response. And if you're signed in when you do it, you'll get an email saying that I responded. It shows my current office hours. So if my office hours change, I'll probably send out an email anyway. But because this is a Google Doc, I can come right in and change it. So you can access my syllabus. And many things are connected a few different ways. Actually, I often have a direct link to my syllabus over here on the left. But instead, I think I really have the weekly to-do list. I can't directly, or I'm not directly linking to the document. But again, you can get into a Google Doc that has your to-do list. And because Blackboard is a little clunky at tracking what you've done, I think it's really important to, you could keep this digital, you could, so I could make a copy and I could tell it where I want it to go, and this would stay on my Google Drive if I make a copy. Because if I do like this, no, I can't do, oh, I am making changes. I should try to change that permission because that's not how I want it to do. It did track what changes I was making, but either way, I'll go in and that should be set like the other where you can't edit it, but you can comment on it. So course information has a link to the syllabus. It also takes you right to the course calendar where you can see when things are due. I don't know what's wrong with this, why it's not showing. Well, it's not showing that as this course is an option. I don't know. Blackboard's being funky with me and I don't feel like dealing with it. But your course calendar will show you stuff on your end. You can also look at instructor information. So here I have my updated office hours. And it tells you where my office is. It's in Viseglia 149. My phone number, my email address, a picture, and then grades. This probably isn't gonna, this will show me some things. So you can see what's coming up. Oh, I must have submitted a test for that. But so when you've submitted something and I haven't graded yet, you can see how it looks here. And you can also click on the assignment and it'll show you what your submission looked like. So for whatever reason, probably while I was making a video, I probably uploaded this. You can look at the rubric, and that popped up in another window, so let me pull it over to where I'm recording. So you can look at the rubric, and what I do when I grade is I just click these boxes. So it'll show you exactly how I'm grading it. And if you scroll down, you can go, okay. So from my grades, it's not really, so you can click the rubrics, and again, it popped up in the wrong place. but from my grades, apparently you can see the rubrics. But weirdly, it wouldn't give you a chance to resubmit it. Now, if I go into, so there's a couple different ways. Let's say I wanted to resubmit that assignment for whatever reason. Usually you don't resubmit assignments. Usually you get one chance. But if I realize that I submitted the wrong file and it hasn't been graded yet, and it's not due yet, I can go in and, so here it won't let me resubmit, but you have to go back to the original. So I could hit literature review, because this is a literature review assignment, and hit the original one. Now it shows me that same submission, but here, I don't know why it doesn't just show it in both places, but from here you can hit start new, and it is just like a brand new thing. Some things, if you're just writing something quick, you could hit write submission, but most of the time you're going to browse your computer, upload a file. I have no idea what this file is. I'm just showing you. So it'll tell you down here, Safe Assign needs certain file formats. These also happen to be the formats that work best with BlackBoard. Now let's say I also wanted to, so this isn't actually my file, but let's say I wanted to send a copy of, so for the title page, I might submit a PDF of the whole thing. Remember, I can go in Google Docs, I can go File, Download, and choose PDF, and it'll download it for me. But if I want to let the instructor comment directly on, so here it's set as, yeah, so that's what would show up, and I could save the file and then upload it. If it's my file, I can change these things, but I want to make a link so that someone with the link can comment or can edit, and then I might paste the link right in here. So I click the write submission and I put my link so that my instructor can easily go through if I want them to be able to make comments directly in the Google Drive. Now, I'm not always going to even have comments, and sometimes for whatever reason I won't be able to go over to Google Drive, but that lets me know that if I do have comments and I'm able, I should go over to Google Drive. And I always want to wait to make sure, so this is just the random whatever my computer was up to. So I want to make sure that my file uploads, and here I see my link. It's not really hyperlinking, but at least I can copy and paste it and go in. So I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, showing you different things. Again, I really, really recommend that you spend some time. Here under course content, if you click weekly modules, up first is the weekly to-do list. That's this guy over here that I already showed you. That's the checklist that I made for you that goes, and I don't have dates on it so that I can reuse it semester to semester. So I would recommend just writing in dates yourself. And then it goes unit by unit. So week by week, it tells you what the focus is, and it kind of reviews which learning objectives we go over. The readings and resources, this should look the same as the checklist, and when you click on it, it'll have pretty much everything in order for the most part. So for example, this week, usually it'll start with the readings, but this week it's going to start with the welcome and the overview videos. You'll notice some of them are missing because I'm still making them. But each week I'll also start with a module overview that'll just sort of talk briefly through what's the focus for that week and what needs to get done that week, because I know there's a lot of small assignments and it's easy to feel lost. So weekly modules, that's the other piece that's in here. So there's the readings. There's also the learning activities. So if you click, so one folder is just for the readings and the videos. This folder is just for the discussion questions, the APA quizzes, and the assignments. These are all links, so you can see there's no descriptions because each of these things exist somewhere else. So the discussion board is its own section. I hit discussion board and it starts with introduce yourself. I can hit literature review, and it's all the assignments that lead up to that first main paper, the literature review. I'll explain all about what the different papers are in a later video. Research proposal, so that's kind of the second half of the course, or the last third time-wise. And so all the assignments related to the research proposal go in here. Am I missing? I might be missing something there. APA quizzes. So all of your quizzes are right here. You can do the APA quizzes as early as you want. So if you wanted, you could take, a few hours and just knock them all out. You can retake them as many times as you want before the due date. Only a couple of them have essay questions, things where I have to go in and look at them. The rest are all multiple choice. So the assignments live in those different spaces, but if you go under the weekly modules, you can go down. So if you click on readings and resources, it's all the readings and the videos. And I try to point out which ones I think are most important to do before your reading circles post. And then the learning activities, if I click, it'll link me right to the assignment. Discussions, you're going to only pay attention to people in your group. So when you create a thread, you'll want to say which group you are. To start off, you'll say like group A, B, or C, and you'll find that under the reading circle groups. So if I click reading circle groups, it'll take me to a page where I will add in names. I wait until right before the class starts because there's often some adds and drops. And especially for the introduction, I want you to add a picture, and there's guides on how to do that. You can just hit the little picture icon, and let me pull over what showed up. I'm going to browse my computer. And this is obviously not a picture of me. I normally would find it, and I could say item description, picture, picture. Adding in these descriptions make it easier for people with disabilities who are using screen reading software to see. You can always expand this if you want more space to see everything you're writing. You can even make it full screen or smaller. You can also use the little attachment to insert a file, but if it's a photo and you attach it like such, it's much easier for people to see. I think even if you're attaching a file, it might be better to use this little paper clip up here, which brings up this window, instead of using the attachment down here. I'm not sure which one shows up better now that I think about it. You can experiment and see what makes it easiest for people to see your work. So discussion questions, typically you need to, let me just check. Okay, I don't think I have incoming yet. I'm not sure when my husband is coming home with our kid. So we'll see. And grading information, you can click to see how I'm going to be grading. My rubrics keep showing up in the wrong window. But you can look, I'm looking to see, are you making a first post? Is it on time, appropriate length and depth, easy to read, and on topic? These don't have to be super well edited, but they need to read clearly. Like if you were sending an email in a professional context. So if it's an email that's going out to a lot of people you work with, you would want to read through it a couple times to make sure that it makes sense. And then I'm grading 2 responses, whether they're on time, whether it's meaningful, and whether it's polite and respectful. So I'm not, I expect a moderate amount of effort for these. This isn't meant to be really hard, but it's also not meant to be something you fire off on your phone every time. I understand in a pinch you might just write something on your phone, but usually I want you to be able to cut and paste and delete a little bit easier as you're writing. I want you to put some thought into it. Let's see, so I've shown you how to upload things. I've shown you how to make a discussion point. The APA quizzes, when you click on them, it'll kind of describe, these quizzes are not timed. You can close out and go back and finish, and you can take them as many times as you want. I don't remember how I have it set. I'm not sure if answers are shown before or after you submit, but you are welcome to ask other people for help on it as long as you are still actively engaged. So if you've taken it, you're not sure why you're getting it wrong, you can ask friends who are in the course. You can come to office hours and ask me. I really want this to be something, these quizzes add up to 100 points, and I mean for it to kind of cushion your grade. What else? Writing resources. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. That's fine. And I have some help videos that go through different issues like how to retake some of the quizzes and things like that. Step-by-step guide. This is the file that I refer to a lot in your readings. And it's something that's kind of been passed instructor to instructor. I've edited it to make sense for me. Here, templates and examples. This is where you get links to the sample papers, to all the templates and peer review forms that you'll use in the class. And then also, at some point, you're going to choose measures for your paper, for your method section. And so here I have a list of some measures. And you can always choose one that's not on this list, but it means you're doing a lot of extra work and risking choosing something that's not going to work well for you. Let's see, online writing resources. These are links to other places. So for example, APA style. I link to information about DOIs, formatting APA style, Jennings Library stuff on APA style, Purdue OWL stuff, sample paper. So if you're just kind of not sure what you need, you can come here and just look for some extra stuff. There's also some bonus opportunities. There's a workbook you can complete. This is 2019, and this is for the 6th edition of the APA style manual. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with 7th edition. I assume that they'll put out a new workbook. I'm not sure. And then grammar, you can choose, if there's a workbook you'd like to do instead of doing this online one, show me the workbook ahead of time, and I am open to you doing grammar workbooks. But Khan Academy is a free website. I donate money periodically because I use it in my classes. But they have, if you create an account, it'll track your work. And you can use it. I think you can do it on your phone. I don't know if they have an app yet or not, but you can sort of do it through the website, at least on your phone. But make sure you're signed in so that it tracks your work so you can show me that you did the work. And for each of these, I'll give 20 bonus points. That's an extra 2% on your grade because it's out of 1,000 courses or 1,000 points. And I'll take it until the last day of Module 7. So these are things you can do if you choose. This is the only extra credit I plan on offering. I used to require the workbook, but there was just a lot of work in the class and something had to give, and it seemed like it took up a lot of time without contributing as much as some of the other things. A lot of people said that the APA quizzes did all the important stuff they needed. And online tutoring, you are required to do at least 2 tutoring sessions total for the course. I recommend using our Writing Center on campus if you can, just because I've heard a lot more positive things about it. But I have had people have positive experiences with the online tutoring as well. Just make sure you schedule ahead of time because I've had people get their appointments canceled out from under them. And make sure that you save the documentation of that. Take a screenshot, save an email, whatever, so that if you do get stuck, you at least have something. Maybe I can give you an extra day or 2 to try to figure it out. The best experiences people have told me is when they've done just drop-in tutoring with this. But the courses, so if you do have an appointment canceled, try the drop-in. But for this course, I have you schedule ahead of time, tell me when your appointment, show me your appointments, and then write up after your appointments what your experience was like. So it's important that you do schedule and follow through. But if things fall through, or if you just need a little extra help, again, I've heard positive things about the drop-in tutoring with Smart Thinking. So there's a guide that shows you how to sign up for that. And then there's also this links to the Caldwell Writing Center. Other resources, counseling resources, that's just kind of good to know that they exist. On campus, the library. Jennings Library has a lot of resources, and librarians are ninjas. They can help you with lots of things, including APA style, or especially if you're having trouble finding articles for your paper. I'm always willing to help you with these things, but during certain times. So during office hours, sure, I'll help you. But I just don't have that many office hours, and I can't always make, individual appointments for things. So librarians and the Writing Center and the online tutoring are just available so much more than I am. That's all the basics of Blackboard. They have a help center. Trying to see. I may. Yeah, I may add extra videos because I know I have videos that walk through things like how to retake the APA quizzes. So particularly the first one, you have to be able, oh, I see. So I've just linked to videos. So you can go in and see me walk through how to do these different things, how to check your scores, and also how to resubmit an assignment. Because as I showed, it's tricky. If you go in through the gradebook, it won't let you do it. You have to go back to the original assignment often. I think that's the basics for Blackboard. Again, if you are not familiar with Blackboard, it's going to take a little bit of poking around to figure out how things work. With my courses, I typically, students have a lot of questions at first. They feel very overwhelmed. By the end, I consistently get feedback that it was very organized and easy to find everything. So I'm not sure how to make things more clear because by the end, people say, no, it was really clear. It just took me a little while to get used to it. So if you have ideas or feedback, I am happy to hear it. But really, it's a matter of time. I've tried to slow down week 1 and a little bit week 2 from how it used to be to give you a little more time to adjust. But I'm going to a strict no late submission policy. So make sure that you take time, and even that week before, to review Blackboard to get to know things. All right, that's it. Thanks. Bye-bye.